Hey guys, welcome back to my latest recipe tutorial on how to make these amazingly soft gluten-free brioche style burger buns. These are the perfect buns for if you're having a barbecue or you just want to cook up something like fried chicken, and I'm going to show you how to make them. So the first thing you want to do is to warm up your milk. You want this around 40 degrees, and I will link the food thermometer down below because I'd really recommend getting one. I'm going to add some caster sugar to this and give it a good stir, and then I'm going to add in my dried yeast. Now I use this FREEE by Dove's Farm one. It's certified gluten free and you can find it in the free from aisle, but I'll link some other yeast choices down below. Give it a good stir, then simply cover this with a tea towel and pop it in a warm place while you prepare everything else. Now for brioche we need to enrich the dough, so I'm going to use some eggs for this. I'm adding 2 large eggs to some apple cider vinegar, give it a little whisk and put it to one side. And then prepare your dry ingredients. I've got my gluten-free white bread flour, some xanthan gum and some salt, and just give it a stir to make sure it's mixed up. Now after 5 to 10 minutes you can see this lovely froth on the yeast. That means that it's activated, so it's time to make our bread dough. And all I'm going to do is add all these ingredients to the flour mix along with some melted butter, which is what really gives brioche its characteristic softness and taste. And once that's all in, it's time to mix it up. Now this won't be like making normal bread. Instead of a nice kneadable dough, we're actually aiming for something quite thick and sticky, and as you can see you're going to have to mix it really well with a wooden spoon. I think you can do this with a stand mixer as well, but I don't have one myself. And as you can see it's nice and thick, and when it starts to come away from the sides of the bowl, that's when it's ready. Now to portion this out properly, what I tend to do is weigh my bowl before I put all the ingredients in, and then I pop it on a set of scales. Take off the weight of the bowl and divide that number by 8, and that's how we're going to get our 8 evenly sized burger buns. And all you have to do is then take off that amount, which for me was around 114 grams, and use 2 spoons to pop it on a baking tray. And then you want to use wet hands to shape it into a ball. You can't really knead this dough into shape, but using wet hands it will stop the dough sticking to you, and as you can see you can shape it nice and smoothly. Don't worry if it's a little bit rough around the edges, we're going for a rustic look here. And I'm going to portion these a couple of centimetres apart because after we've done this we're going to prove them, which means the dough is going to expand, and it doesn't matter if they're touching, it's going to give that really nice tear when you break a roll away. So I've got my 8 buns here, they're pretty evenly spaced, and I don't know why I didn't put 2 rows of 4, but there we go, I've done it like this and I'm sticking to it. So to prove these, you want to cover them with some oiled cling film and then pop them in a nice warm spot, preferably with a tea towel over the top to stop any drafts. And as you can see, after an hour to an hour and a half, they are lovely and puffy and they have really expanded in size. Now because this is an enriched dough, it does take slightly longer to prove than any other doughs. So you may find that if you've got a cold kitchen, it might take longer to prove, or in a warm kitchen, it might prove a lot quicker. So just keep an eye on them until they're nice and puffy like this. And then to get that glaze, I'm brushing them with some beaten egg. And then simply, if you want to, top them with some sesame seeds. I like this because it's like a proper hamburger bun look, but you can leave these out if you like. And then we're going to bake these until they're lovely and golden brown. And as you can see, they've got a lovely glaze to them. And to finish them off, I'm going to brush them with some melted butter when they come straight out of the oven. This is actually what keeps the brioche nice and soft. And you'll see that when they've cooled down they're lovely and squishy and they don't have a really hard crust. So make sure you give them a good covering of melted butter, and then you want to leave them for about half an hour at least to cool down. You shouldn't eat gluten-free bread when it's hot out the oven, you want to let it cool a little bit for the gums to settle. But when you cut into this, just look how lovely and soft and squishy these burger buns are. And as you can see, you can stack them high with whatever fillings you like. I've got some tempura chicken and some hot sauce, which I'm just putting into a nice simple burger for lunch. But these would be great for a barbecue, and you can freeze them and keep them as well. So that's how to make my gluten-free burger buns. I will link down below a link to the full recipe on my blog. Do check it out, and I'll also link the ingredients as well. If you like this recipe, do hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you again very soon.